This is Chelmsford Community Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go!
Broadcasting live,
online, on air, and on 104.4 FM.
from the home of radio.
This is CCR.
Nita Jumu's City Talk.
And we've got to say a big hello and good evening to Philip Ashdown from Anything's Possible. Good evening, Phil.
Hello everyone, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Phil? You all right?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you very much. How is everything going?
Going well in a very hot studio tonight. Do you think it's coming home, Phil? On Wednesday?
I'm going to be optimistic and say yes.
Yay!
Anything's possible, remember?
Anything's Possible, yeah. Tell us, remind us. So your name, you can't go under the name of Anything's Possible. How long have you been playing music and creating music?
I've been doing my music for probably 10 years now. I've been playing bass, but like we discussed previously, I've decided to use this COVID lockdown from last year to write my first album. So that's been out, coming up to about 9 months now it's been out. So I've started writing some new music as well as promoting the first album, which has gone pretty well.
Brilliant stuff. Have you been able to perform at any point during this lockdown?
I've not
possible
performed yet.
No, not yet.
I don't really see myself as like a proper performer. I really just want to be behind the scenes making music, even if it's for someone else in the future. I just like the act of actually writing music.
I see. And your first album, it was quite eclectic, wasn't it? It was a kind of mix of different styles and different types of songs. And I think we played on the show previously your Going Up London song, which was...
Yeah, Going Up West, that one.
Yeah, Going Up West. Yeah.
Yeah, the first album was just a collection of bass lines that I composed over a number of years while I was doing some bass covers. And I just decided I'd put them together with a drum machine, a few FX, and just put them into an album. So I've now decided to try my hand at other instruments. So I bought myself a synthesizer,
Right.
because there's a lot of popular music in synths at the moment. So I bought myself a little keyboard a few weeks ago. I've been doing a few little songs on that, trying to just learn chord theory, some different sounds, and so I've released my first single using my keyboard, which
wow.
you're going to play.
Yeah. So how many instruments do you play now then?
I can only really play 2. I'd like to learn more. Obviously, the more instruments you pick up, the more creative your mind becomes, really. So it's absolutely amazing when you do pick up an instrument.
So the song that we're going to play in a minute, is that from a brand new album, or are you going to add it to the old album? How's it going to work?
What I've decided, obviously, the last 9 months has been very difficult in terms of music production. So it's really been a real eye-opener in terms of having to try and get people to actually listen to music. It's actually very difficult. It's been a very long process. So what I decided to do is, looking back, I should probably have not released an album and should have just released a few sort of demo singles and then release the album later on. So what I'm going to do now is, I did have the idea for a second album. The second album is going to be a sort of space-themed sort of psychedelic album. So I had written a few songs for that, and this new song that was actually written, it was about 2011, so it's about 10 years old, this song.
Oh, wow.
It's just like the chords anyway, so it's actually a very old song that I'd written down but actually just never got around to actually releasing it. So I think on my previous interview I told you about how much music I've got to release. It's just I've got to just settle down now, so I just dug that out of an old folder somewhere on my laptop, and I just sat down, decided to redo it, and then I thought I'd apply some of these synthesizer songs to it. So it's a very simple bass and drum song, but this one uses synthesizers, which is I think going to be an important part of all my future music.
So you said you wrote this song in 2011?
Yeah, it's a really old song. It might be 2011, 2013. So it's.
So how did you feel about Loreen? She won the Eurovision Song Contest in 2012, and she also had a song called Euphoria.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. The Swedish artist. Yeah.
There's a few songs on Spotify called Euphoria, but I decided to do this song called Euphoria because it was originally called something else. I'm not sure. But I decided just through the synthesizer sounds that you were getting out of it, to me it just sounded euphoric. So I tell my listeners to sort of just shut your eyes and pretend you're floating in space. Just so shut your eyes for a bit, just let those synthesizers come in like the first 30 seconds, and you just feel this sense of euphoria as like these opening chords kick in. It's really beautiful. It's a basic 3-chord song, but it's just the synthesizer sound that I've got out of my instruments whilst just playing around with it really went well with the song. And so a lot of people that I've actually got to give it a listen have actually said how much they like it. I put it on Facebook, and Facebook was very positive. It's just trying to get it heard on Spotify that's proven to be a very difficult aspect of all my music, really. It's a very difficult process.
But I've got to say congratulations for this song, because out of all the songs I heard of yours, because I obviously heard your first album, and I heard this song, and I think this one is my favourite so far.
It's very different. Obviously, it's chill out. Whereas my first album was quite dancey and upbeat, whereas this one's just relaxing. And I've got another song called Angel and Flutes out in about a month's time.
Okay.
That's using drone music, which I'm experimenting with.
Drone music? Did you say?
Space Race, which
drone
honestly
music.
I think
What's that? What's drone music?
The Space Race comes out. It's probably going to come out in September, and that's like Pink Floyd style. So this is like, again, it goes back to my sort of difficult second album of sort of space-themed music. So the Space Race sounds really good. And then I've got another song called Brothers and Sisters, which I'm probably going to release on my 1-year anniversary in October. So I've got so much music coming out at the moment. I'm actually really enjoying it. It's very tough going, trying to get people to listen to it. But in terms of the creative process, it's really, really doing me good at the moment. I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, good. And we're happy to play it on Chelmsford Community Radio for you, because it is completely different to going up west, because that was very hectic, because London is hectic, but this one's a complete opposite, which I really do rather like.
This one it's euphoric. It's just pretend you're floating in space for a few minutes. It's lovely.
And I know the reception has been brilliant. You're on the BBC as well, and you're charting in Australia, I think it is, as well at the moment. So it's doing well.
I'm very proud of that. I can say that I've been streamed from, say, New Zealand up to Canada, from Japan down to Argentina. So I've been I haven't had like worldwide domination, but I've had something like 20,000, 25,000 streams, which, given I'm not being promoted by Spotify, I'm quite proud of that. I mean, it's very difficult trying to get people to hear it and get it on Spotify playlists, but I still think that's a pretty impressive return so far for someone who's literally just sending emails around left, right and centre trying to beg people to listen to it. So I am pleased and proud of the efforts I put in, and highly recommend people do it. Great.
If people want to hear more of your music and find out more about you, can you give us any information where they can look, website address, etc.?
Yeah, my Facebook page is obviously the go-to thing that I'm trying to get people to go to. On there, you'll be able to find the link tree link. That's just, if you go Anything's Possible Music, you should be able to find that on Facebook. So that's where you normally do that. It's just Anything's Possible Music. And the link tree will take you to Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, all those different things. I don't really look at some of them. I'm really focused on the Spotify. But so yeah, Facebook. Then you go on if you're impressed with my sort of the mindfulness and the positivity aspect of what I'm trying to achieve. You can go on Instagram and find all my little Facebook posts about motivation, all my little quotes, which I like doing. So there are no shortcuts to any place worth going. So that's something I believe in. So obviously it might take me a few years to get properly heard, but there are no shortcuts to any place worth going. So it will be a long process.
Cool. Thank you very much for being on tonight's show. And would you like to introduce your track for us tonight?
Yep. So this is Euphoria. This is just a simple bass and drums loop, but with a nice laid-back synthesizer sound. The synthesizer chords just let all that stress and anxiety flow away. That's the whole point of this. It's a very upbeat, very chilled vibe, and I really hope people will like it.
Thank you very much, Phil. Anything's possible.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
This is CCR. Nita Jumu's City Talk.